Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a great day. Today's video is going to be an updated plant video, most of like what I've been doing differently and stuff, but everything that I use will be linked down below, so you guys can check that out if you would like. And I really hope you enjoy this video. If you do, don't forget to throw a thumbs up down below, and let's get straight on into it. Also, before I start getting into the plants, I do want to mention that I had asked on Instagram that there was a lot of questions and comments about what to do with your plants and stuff, and I was going to add that into this video, but I got over 100 messages in my Instagram. But if you guys do have any more questions, please just message me about plants, because I will probably do a separate video of plant questions. All right, so moving on to my pride and joy over here, which is my peace lily. It is a little beat up from me neglecting it lately. I know I've been such a bad plant mom to some of these plants, but that's because my schedule is a little bit hectic and I haven't been home quite often, which it actually started to bloom a nice little white flower. And I heard that if they start blooming white flowers, then that means they are happy. Not sure how true that is, but what I did differently was that I got on a watering schedule for all of my plants. So I made it easier for me, which is every Wednesday I water all my plants. So it's kind of like Water Wednesday, so I do not forget. So with this peace lily, I do wipe down all of the leaves when I can. It does have some dust on it right now because I usually do it once a week, so I haven't done it yet. I do get a nice rag, I wipe the leaves down. Obviously I wet the rag a very little bit, and I go very gentle on the leaves. It keeps them nice and shiny. These are all new leaves over here, that's why they're lighter green than these ones. These are very mature leaves. So as for me, like watering it every Wednesday, I do not use fertilizer, I do not use any special plant food for any of my plants. I want to put that out there, you guys. For the soil, I just use regular organic soil from down the street. I advise you guys to just go to your local nursery and grab it from there instead of getting Miracle-Gro and stuff. If you like Miracle-Gro, then keep it. I'm not telling you guys what to buy, but I had a very bad experience with that stuff, and I will link that video down below. And the easiest thing that I can actually tell you guys what I did to get rid of the bugs is I let the soil completely dry out, emptied out the soil, and then started fresh all over again. I know it's such a hassle, but that is what cleared my bug situation. I didn't use any harsh chemicals. I just didn't want to do that to my plant roots and stuff like that. And I didn't actually want to hurt the bugs either. I actually ended up putting them outside. And when I bought this plant, it was so tiny. It had like 4 leaves. I'm so happy on how big it has gotten, and it does bloom a flower every 2 to 3 months. If your peace lily is not blooming any flowers, then you might want to push it into a area that's a little bit well lit. Like my parlor is very well lit with all of the windows. So even though peace lilies are great plants for shady areas or even like a dark room, they will not bloom a white flower if you do not have some kind of sunlight coming in. These plants will thrive if you treat them very well. Moving on to my favorite plants I have in my entire house. No disrespect to all the other ones I have. I have always been kind of drawn to MONSTERA plants. I think it's because of the split leaf effect. Now, I was having a huge problem with this plant with some of the leaves not splitting. With that happening, I felt like that was because it wasn't getting enough sunlight, because I was keeping that window right there, the curtain, shut 24/7. So what I did is I started to open up the curtain every morning. So this plant and the peace lily get direct sunlight, and this was a new baby that grew, and it had a little split in it, so I felt like, you know, it's getting there. And then eventually this one grew towards the window. So I feel like the key to having these MONSTERAs, yes, you can definitely have them in the shade in your house, but they will not split like this. You will have a MONSTERA that will look like this, like a regular big plant, which I don't mind heart-shaped leaves. I think they're beautiful, but of course I love the split effect. Tend to bring her in the shower sometimes and, you know, spray them like basically on top. I'll spray it, and even with the pole, the little pole back here,
This is the moss pole. I will keep that in. It can get wet, doesn't matter. I go a very little light spray in the shower. I feel like she's doing 10 times better than how she was before I started opening the window. Quite a bit of shiny leaves. This one is more of a lighter green, so that is a baby still. As to this one, it's little partner, which is a very darker green, so that one's a little bit mature, and you can definitely see some wear and tear on this one more. So I feel like anyone could definitely own these plants. It just depends on what do you want out of this plant. Do you want a split leaf effect? Then put her next to the window. Or if you just want these like nice little heart-shaped regular big leaves, then keep her in the shade. You know, this is the one plant that has never done me wrong, and I swear that everyone should try their best to own one of these, because this will make you want more plants. This is kind of like the encouragement to get others. So before showing you guys this updated plant, I just want to take a moment and show you guys how it looked when I first made this little, I don't know what you call it, plant wall, I guess. It was very bald in a lot of spots. The down below was a lot full. It was just the beginning of it. I believe I made it last spring, so it's been over a year. I have a whole video on how I made this, which I'll link down below, but I did want you guys to check it out. I did do a before and after picture of this because this was something that I made. I wish I had before and after pictures of every plant, but I mean, in a perfect world, yes. But this is the only plant that I took pictures of, and as you guys can tell, it was a baby there. So now let's look at the after picture, and this is it after. So let's do a little bit of comparison. But yeah, so this is the outlook of it, and I can't believe how much it's grown. It has been growing leaves all the way up to the ceiling, and lately I've been having to take this part from out underneath because it has been making some marks back there from the roots, because the roots do like to attach to the walls. I'll see if I can get a close-up of how the roots are. So the roots have these little tiny little legs. They get longer and longer, and they eventually will attach to the wall if I allow them to, and they will keep growing up the wall. So of course I do not let them do that because I don't want them to damage the wall, but it has grown so much. I'm very, very proud of it. This plant can handle so much neglect. There has been times I have forgotten to water her in a month. Like I went a month without watering this poor baby, and she was still growing new leaves. So you see a new leaf right there that's like a lime green color. Eventually it will start to look like its partners. There's actually growth coming down there. It's probably going to try to wrap around, but I'm going to try to train it and bring it back up to here. Again, you got more growth on that side. I do need to tie this little guy back to here because this has grown quite a lot, so I do need to train it, and that's what I do every time. That's a new leaf coming out again, and another new leaf, and it never stops growing. I do water this every Wednesday as well. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you think it will be all filled up by next year? Let me know in the comments below. Here is my little arrowhead. This plant used to be in my bedroom, but I decided to move it out here because in my bedroom it was doing this. It was becoming very wilted looking and not doing its best, so I moved it out to here, and it only had this part grown until this side came out, and this has been blooming ever since I moved her out here. There's another baby back there. That is a root that I have to cut because it is dried out. It does these roots here and there to go back to the soil. You can cut them, it's no big deal. The thing with the arrowheads is that their leaves are such a bright yellowish green. They have such a beautiful color. So if they get a lot of sunlight, and I don't think I have it on here, I don't know if this one has it. If they get a lot of sunlight, it becomes to be like tiger stripes, and it's such a beautiful plant to have and so simple. And this plant has my heart because this is the first plant that I've ever owned. Super happy that it's doing awesome. I just repotted it a couple weeks ago. She was in a smaller pot than this, but this one's fairly big for her, and the roots are like right here. So she's got quite a while to go to be a bigger plant. Moving on to my snake plant that I have in my bathroom. This plant hasn't been doing the best. I recently had to cut off a leaf right there, and she does have some new growth back here if you guys can see. Just the thing with these plants is that I always want them to grow nice and straight, and they usually don't. So as you guys can see how these little new leaves are growing, which is fine. I've had so many snake plants in my life and I always end up passing them along to others. The key to keeping a snake plant alive and well is to dry out that soil. Make sure that soil is like bone dry, and then water it fully. That's the only way that I think these things will survive. Mine is a little beat up because I haven't really been paying much attention to it. Most of my plants I haven't been paying much attention to it, but this plant in particular, because it is like right beside the toilet, I put this plant in here because they like a lot of shade. These plants do not like sunlight whatsoever. My best bet, if you guys are having a little bit of issue with snake plants, dry out the soil, keep it away from sunlight, and you'll probably see a lot of new growth. That is all new growth. That's like a whole new plant back there. Once when you do cut a piece off, it will never grow back, so keep that in mind. So there's a couple spots. It does look ugly when you cut them, but you can just cut them all the way down. If you see no growth from the outside of it, always check the middle. So I know it's a little blurry, but I can see and feel a little baby coming up from under there. I've definitely seen a change ever since I moved her into the bathroom, and I kid you not, it was literally 2 months ago I moved her, and she grew. All of that in the middle part is growing. So she likes it in here so far, and maybe I will end up repotting her into a bigger pot. Alright, going on to my silver pothos. She's happy. There's no yellow leaves. If you see a little bit of a lime green color, obviously it's a new leaf coming in. There's quite a few new leaves inside, but I wanted her to be as full as possible because these plants kind of remind me of frogs. I don't know why. Maybe it's the way they're like this part looks. I water her every Wednesday. I don't do anything crazy, anything different. So this is a new growth right here. You can see the difference in the color. This is a new growth right here. You see how you can see the difference? Some people mistaken the new growths for dead leaves because it's not that color. When they come out like that, and then they end up growing into this beautiful thing. And these leaves are very, very tough. Like, it takes a while to rip these kind of leaves. They're very sturdy. Another pothos I have, this is something that I made. I took some golden pothos and some 2 leaves from that pothos and just combining them together. Added her into my kitchen area because this was under the fireplace. The thing with these kind of pothos, this is what's funny about them. So the window's there. So if I move this plant to this way, you guys see how she's gravitating towards me? Gravitating towards the window. So you want to always rotate them, and that's what I've been doing with her. The minute I started rotating her once a month, I have seen a lot of babies coming up. So that is what I've been doing different with this one. I do water her every Wednesday, and I rotate her once a month. Rotating has helped a lot, especially with these kind of pothos. And then of course I do have my MONSTERA in my bedroom. This plant is doing great as well. So the craziest thing is what I noticed. I need to start rotating her because the left side has no split leaves, and then the right side is filled with split leaves because it's under a window. It's kind of a weird looking plant. It looks like there's 2 plants combined because this whole side's not split while this side is completely split. Besides that, there's a lot of new growth going on down there. I water her every Wednesday. Again, you guys are gonna get sick of me saying every Wednesday, but I water her every Wednesday. I do take her in the shower once a month because she is a very light plant. I shower her down, bring her back in here, let her air dry, and she absolutely loves it. No complaints whatsoever about these MONSTERAs. And this is a baby one. A little bit of smaller leaves than the one in the parlor, but still a beautiful plant. But when I purchased these 2 plants, I should say, I added 2 in one pot. I purchased these 2 plants from IKEA when I first got this apartment almost 2.5 years ago, and she was really like small, and as you can see, the new growth on this plant is insane. insane. So she is growing basically out of that pot. I need to repot her soon. The reason why she's grown so much more now than before is that she doesn't like indirect light. She just likes a well-lit room, like how my bedroom is. So I moved her in here. She was actually in the parlor, and I moved her and I started to rotate her as well because I've noticed that all these leaves were gravitating towards the window. Rotated her once a month, watered every Wednesday, and I actually sometimes put her in the shower, and I've seen such amazing change. You can even see by the color of some of the leaves are like tricolors, where the ends are like red, and I couldn't believe how this plant revived itself. These are actually the old leaves down here where they were dying and stuff. They were turning yellow, and I just thought that I was gonna have to throw her out, but I didn't give up. I decided to try my best to revive her, and now I do need to go get a better pot because she's just gonna keep growing. And for my last big baby is this. I believe this one is a trachania as well, but a different type. It has grown so much that eventually I am going to have to move her because she's almost at the ceiling. So when I went to Dominican Republic, I've actually seen these bad boys in action when they are outside and how big these can actually grow. So I was kind of determined to make her as big as possible. If I could have her grow into an actual tree, I will definitely do so. Now with this plant, I take a little bit of more care too, and that's because she is very fragile. Not much of the leaves are sharp as hell. Like these ends, if I go like that, I will get a huge paper cut. I don't know how to even explain it. Very, very rough. Sandpaper-like, I guess that's the way to explain this plant. When I first got her, she was up to here. She had about 5 leaves. I took her from my job because no one was taking care of her, and that was around September. So it's grown this much. The branch itself is actually bending. I'm not sure if that's normal. The only thing I've been doing different with this plant to make her grow this big is I do not water her every Wednesday. I water her every other Wednesday. Make sure her soil is completely dry. They do not like a lot of water, so I kind of ease up on that. I do wipe the leaves down. I know it's tedious. I do it with a rag. I try my best not to cut myself. And there's a baby coming in right there as we speak. I know she's a little bit camouflaged. See if I can actually get to it. Yeah, there she is. So I know you see this plant in all of my videos. So if you guys go back to the probably a couple months ago of when she started appearing in my videos when I first bought this desk, she was a lot smaller, but I'm super happy, and I hope maybe she will reach the ceiling. Once she starts reaching the ceiling, I mean, she is kind of almost, what, 10 inches, 20 inches maybe away from the ceiling, so I'll probably bring her down. But I'm excited. I'm definitely excited to see what she turns into. All right, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other plant questions, please message me on Instagram or comment down below. I will be doing a separate video of plant questions and try my best to answer them the best of my knowledge, because I'm not a plant expert. I didn't go to school for any of this. I just learned on my own, and I actually learned through YouTube and Pinterest. And I know you guys are asking about my MONSTERA little plant blanket. I'm gonna try my best to link down below a similar one. This one my sister got me last year for my birthday, but I will link a similar one down below so you guys can check it out. And you also could put like a plant towel too. I've seen a lot of big towels on people's beds, so you can use towels as throw blankets too. So don't get a little discouraged if you guys can't find the exact same blanket that I have. I'm gonna try to help you guys out. So with that being said, I will catch you in the next video. Bye.